Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 of the Great Guitar Build-Off 2021 entry. The audio is a little bit better this time. Hopefully everything is a little bit more smooth. I know there's some glitches, but let's jump into the commentary.
All right, I don't even remember what we were talking about last time when we ended.
I don't either.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about stain today.
Oh.
And I'm doing stain tests right there. Do you guys do a lot of staining?
No.
Well, you're missing out.
Is that for real? We definitely do a lot of staining.
You're lying to me now? So you're telling me the audience can't trust you guys?
They can trust us. Trust me.
They can trust Amber.
All right. All right. So whenever Sean's speaking, don't listen. You can just block him out. Maybe I'll edit him out here. Amber, you might want to just grab the microphone for the rest of this.
Done.
Doing some tests here to see how the colors are blending.
Okay. So are you blending blue and green?
I was trying that. Everything that I started with, though, the base was black. For most of the staining that I'm doing, I will always start with that base, which I'm doing right there. I'm putting the base down, and then I'm putting the lighter color stains on top of it. Sometimes I'll sand the base down.
Do you do pre-stain to test, or do you just do the stain?
Pre-stain how? Like?
It's hard to say. I'll show you.
Okay.
We have pre-stain.
Okay. So I'm going to say no to that question. I just sanded those down and then just put some stain on. And
I wasn't a pre-stain believer when we first started woodworking. And we actually are going to do some content here soon where we show the difference between when you use pre-stain and when you don't. It's helps with consistency. Actually, it has quite a few benefits, but
you made me look like an idiot here because I had no idea what pre-stain was. So.
I didn't either.
So pre-stain helps the post-stain look.
Yes.
Okay.
It smooths out the colors, like if there's any blotchiness, which is kind of hard to see. I don't think there's a lot of blotchiness there, but it's supposed to kind of make it a little bit more even.
Okay, so you know what I do with that on the final, or what I've done on the final instrument is I have water, and I will spray a little bit of water, and I'll water them down as I do the blend.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if it probably doesn't take the place of pre-staining, it sounds like, but that's what I do to get it even. Here I wasn't too concerned. I wanted to see what the colors were looking like, and you can see I'm sanding back there just to get an idea of what it looks like.
Yeah. I like those.
There's a shot.
Yeah. Are these water-based stain?
Yes, these ones are. They make these particular stains, the company makes them in spirit-based as well, which can be a little bit more vibrant. And apparently you can actually use them together.
Yeah.
So learning all these things about staining, I had no idea.
That would make sense. So, angle grinder?
Yep. Back to my favorite part of guitar building and tool using.
Do we have Optimus Prime on your shirt?
I do. You know, I don't even know where I got that shirt. It turned into a work shirt.
Are you optimistic about how this is turning
I think
out?
it's gonna be a prime guitar when it's done.
Zing.
Hey, I gotta give the fans what they want. All two of them, they like the puns. Well, actually, I don't know if they do. They may not. They may hate them.
I
You
like
like
them. Yes, these two fans do.
Perfect. The two fans who are also featured on the video like the puns, and that's all that matters. So yeah, obviously sped up. This is how when we were talking last time about bevels and the like.
Yeah.
So this is how I shaped them.
Okay. But you just do it by eye, right? So there's no certain.
I do lines to give myself an edge to where I didn't want to go past that. So yeah, I will always draw out some kind of, see the line right there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because last thing I want to do is go too far, and if I just go up to the line, I can always take more material out when I sand. Were you holding the mic? Okay. Oh, there it is. Okay. Sorry, I can't see anything from over here, so. Got this nice, comfy
No.
camping chair. Beats the ladder, yeah.
Yep.
Just for clarification, Sean is sitting on a ladder right now.
So what grit are you using?
I usually do 60 or 80 for the carving process, and then go up to 320.
Okay.
And this, okay.
Oh yeah.
Remember the screw up?
Yep.
This is the solution right here. And you can see I did draw a line there as well.
Oh, I like that. It goes really well with the part in the lower part of the body.
It's the aesthetic, I think. It actually is a feature now on the guitar. Not a mistake.
Yeah, you would never know.
No.
Happy accidents.
But everyone will know because they're watching the video. Sure,
True.
there's no hiding it. But, you know, honest comes at a price, I guess.
Inside look.
Inside look at the truth.
Do you name your guitars?
No. I name the videos and the projects, but it's not the name of the guitars. All right, let's see. So one thing I didn't like here was, one thing I don't like is I didn't include the shot I wanted to talk about. But I did that to the top of the guitar, right, to correct that mistake. I wanted to do it to the bottom of the guitar too, but I couldn't because of these bevels. All right, so the front of it. Okay, there I am. So what I did is I carved the back. So I did an opposite direction than I did the front.
Okay.
So that they're kind of coming into each other from opposite ways. So I felt like that actually balanced the guitar real nicely because just leaving it, it looked weird.
Yeah.
Going the same direction, I had that bevel and couldn't because I already carved too far. Continue that and it would look weird. And there we go. See, there's a good look.
Okay. Yeah.
See the oppositeness of it? Yeah. That's a terrible word, oppositeness.
contrast, maybe, or yeah.
Yeah. Compliment. It's a contrast and a compliment.
Everybody loves a good compliment.
Yes. And I'm not really getting any here. Deservedly so.
What are you working on here?
So I'm placing the bridge.
Okay.
So use the scratch owl to mark my spots. That's one of those things that you check multiple times over and over before you actually drill anything. Here you need to make sure you're drilling straight, so that's why the drill block's in place. And this is why a drill press, for me, having a lot of depth would be nice. Anyone out there in the market for a drill press, get some depth.
Yep. I can see why that would help.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I made these templates here. I'm just taking out the material. This is where the cavity is going to be for the, whatever you call it, the electronics. I can't think of the name of anything right now. The reason I have two circles there is one is slightly smaller than the other. There's going to be a plate that goes in and it needs to be recessed.
Okay.
And I used really thick plywood there so that the router bit could just still have a part for the bearing to go around, and then just barely take a little bit off for the recessed part.
So you can work your way down.
Yep.
Okay.
Because the edge there, I don't want it to go that deep. For making these, there we go. That's what it is.
Yeah. That looks pretty good.
Yeah, I was very happy with it. I think I used a lid I found in the cupboard as my basis for the circle.
Perfect.
Now we're putting, this is where the neck bolts are going to go in.
Okay.
They got to be, I don't know, placed pretty well. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you're going to see where they're at when you're looking at the back of the guitar. I went and bought these. I don't know what these drill bits are called, but I went and bought these because I did not have the exact size I needed.
Are you just for countersinking?
Yeah, so that's what the those things, the ferrules,
Okay.
are going
Yeah.
into there.
Okay.
Like so.
I'm gonna ask the important questions here. What's going on with the sheet?
The sheet hanging up there,
Yeah.
that's to keep the dust on the second floor of the apartment and not go down to the first.
Okay, I didn't know if you had like a fan 'cause it was getting hot.
There's
or...
also sun protection there because I'm facing north.
Fair enough.
Oh, you see it's so windy. You see it just flapping there in the shadow.
Yeah.
And okay, let's see. These are holes for the control cavities. And there I am using those new blades again that I got. I think I spent $10 on them at Lowe's. Seem to work pretty well. Now we're shaping this for comfort. I was actually very skeptical about doing this because you see there on the right where my hands are covering, it slopes down there. And I thought maybe there would be too much slope by also sloping this into it.
Yeah.
That was not the case.
What's the advantage to the slope?
Looks and comfort. So when that's right where you're holding the guitar, with the high part of the fretboard, the thinner it is, the more comfortable it is when you're going high up.
Okay.
I had an air guitar in my head to figure out what you meant.
Yeah.
Mint. This is a mint conversation. more sanding.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Yep, lots of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using a really long drill bit there, so I'm drilling into the pickup cavity right there.
Okay. So in that pocket.
That's how you're going to get the wiring through.
How do you make sure you don't,
Screw it up?
Yeah, basically.
Making sure you're drilling straight and getting lucky.
On a hope and a prayer.
Yep, that's what most of guitar building is. And there it is. Oh, made it through.
Do they have jigs for that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I have not seen one. And then, you drill through the front there, so then you get the wire through there, and then you can put the wire through pretty much anywhere you want. As you can see, I started drilling, and I didn't have it clamped. Almost lost the whole thing off the edge. Today's lesson, use your clamps and your eyes to make sure that, you use the clamp.
One of those fun mistakes.
Oh, yeah. Restarting projects is fun. More filing, shaping of the neck. I mean, this takes quite a bit of time.
Is this for comfort as well?
So that right there, that little shape is called a volute. And it doesn't have to have it, but it does strengthen the neck. And it makes it look prettier than if it were just flat.
Okay.
So that is why now we're coming full circle on a few things here. From the first episode, how I drew all of those out on the template. Now I'm actually have something to go off of to put it on the guitar. And I changed it a little bit kind of as I went. But as you can see, probably just if I was just doing it on the guitar, I might have not gotten it right the first time I had to erase. And I'd rather not try to erase on wood grain because that's a pain.
I'm still pretty impressed, though, because even doing a template, I probably would have messed it up.
You would have messed the template up. Hey, quit using ink, and I think you'll be okay.
Fancy.
And I realized it would... Okay, before we get to that, that's a bent truss rod.
Oh.
Like it's supposed to be totally straight right there, and it was slightly bent. The truss rod still can be used because it's when you're adjusting it, it's bending basically up and down. But I had to hollow it out a little bit more there to get it to fit.
Okay.
We are going to get to the carving aspect of what we were just watching. And I knew there was going to be a lot of carving for those eyes. I did not know it was going to take as long as it did.
Is that one of those ones where you don't even get halfway through before you realize how long it takes?
I was about this point right there starting when I realized how long it was going to take.
Yep.
I've got a lot of shots of this, and we'll see some. You're going to see different lighting because I did this on different days. Actually, you can still see here on my hand. See that? There's a callus right there. That is from that knife.
Wow.
From weeks.
Dedication.
Insanity, also another
Yep.
app description. So as you can see, there's two big issues here. To be that precise, you have to use a blade like that. You can't just chisel it out. The other thing, and I did not know this about the wood is very splintery. So this is Afromosia, I think is how you say it.
Okay.
Never used it before. I think it looks fantastic, but when you're kind of cutting into it, it wants to kind of splinter out a little bit.
Yeah.
Makes it difficult, really difficult to basically stay on your lines and not get chip out. It was not fun to work with.
I can see that.
Hey, we're using our eyes today. We're using our vocabulary. Let's see.
This isn't fast forward too, huh?
Yeah, this one's like at 7 times the speed right there.
You got 2 eyes done.
Yeah.
Do you know roughly how long it took you to finish it?
Based on the fact that I watched a 2-hour concert, I watched a Suns game, and I watched a Diamondbacks game on 3 separate days, I would say at least 8 hours.
Ooh.
So, there I am. Another different day. Got the concert on back there. I just put that shot in there to show the concert more than me carving. Yeah, and you can see the shade changed, the lighting. That's how much time passed from that first bit, and that's as far as I've made it.
A little bit of a time lapse.
Yeah, just a little bit. I got sick of that, and my hand was hurting, so decided to do something else. Now, do you guys do this for any holes that you're drilling? So what I did there is I drilled in reverse.
Oh, yeah, I did that. I did it for Lauren's easel that I made.
That is a fantastic trick. Did it work for you?
Yeah, it worked really well.
I love it. Like, you eliminate your tear out, and then once you get it started, you can go like normal. But
I found it by accident. Like, nobody told me to do that. It was totally by accident, but it worked out really well.
well, you found an awesome trick by accident. You know what? I'm gonna edit that part out just so people don't realize that you found it by accident.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, you can claim it and make a video on it and then impress more people.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Just trying to help you out there. This is a night. I got the lamps on there. That's as far as I've made it. Okay, we're on like day 3 of carving this.
Do we know how many eyeballs there are?
I have no clue.
Oh, I'm disappointed.
Am I gonna have to do a count?
I'm
Are we
gonna
gonna have to do
need
a
a
recount?
count. Yeah.
This instructional, well, it wasn't very good instructional video, has now turned into a political video halfway through.
So would you do this again?
Yes. Once I had enough time to forget about the first time.
Would you change anything?
The wood I'm using. I would not want to do it in that type of wood again.
You think it'd be better with a different one?
Yeah, I think a softer wood, a little bit less splintery wood, I think it would go better. I mean, you've seen the Wenge that I planed over here. That's extremely hard wood. I carved using a Dremel in that. It did not turn out as good as I wanted it to. Very, very difficult to, basically carve out and have the tool go where you want it to go, even though I was using an extremely sharp bit.
So you don't think a Dremel would have worked for the eyes?
I thought about it. And just with the way the wood splintered, I think it would be way too imprecise. So I'd get stuff that would like kind of go off to the side or just not stay with the razor. I mean, I even got chip out with the razor blade, but I was able to control it enough that you can kind of still shape those lines better than you could with a Dremel, even with a tiny bit. I didn't make these big enough, apparently, or the pickups that I got were too big for the, so I had to do a little chiseling there. But now we're back. This time I'm watching the Suns game, so there's that. And I wanted some round eyes, and so I used some other tools for that. The Forstner bit worked fantastic to get a nice little round look.
What grit are you sanding that with?
That was 220 to get it, just kind of even it out a little bit.
Look at that. Looks good.
Thank you. Hopefully it looks really good when we're done. We're doing the stain here, so basically I wanted to fill all of the gaps and then sand it back.
Bring up the pre-stain, or is it too soon?
You know, I'm still having a post-traumatic stress disorder from that comment originally.
Too soon, then.
So, too soon, yeah. So yeah, just filled it all in, and then I sanded it back once I got it all filled in. And then I will be doing probably a light coat of the black stain on everything, and then sanding that back a little bit, and then going with the greens and the blues. I was thinking about using purple, and I decided to ditch that. This, I needed a really large leveling beam. Didn't have one. So super glue your sandpaper to a table with masking tape, and voila.
I like it as long as your table's level.
And that's why I'm using that one and not the one behind me, because it's not level.
Yep.
Yeah, this one's nice and level. So the only downside is that the masking tape, of all things, took up a little bit of the finish when I pulled it off, which, I mean, I did buy that table at Harbor Freight, so I can't complain.
Plus, it's a work table.
Oh, and that, I didn't even have that clamped. I just put it on the sandpaper. The sandpaper worked as its own
Nice
clamp. So if you ever need that for like a large piece, throw down some sandpaper and then just masking tape super glue it, and then you can use your orbital sander on top, and it holds it perfect.
It doesn't look like you had to do too much sanding to get the stain off. That's
No.
nice.
It usually comes off, and I have worked with these stains before. That's the only reason I know anything about them, just because I've failed with them many times. But it did come off very nicely.